This interview is brought to you by Verizon. When the Navy and the Marine Corps look to securely and effectively modernize their network and voice communications in the continental United States or outside the contiguous United States, Verizon's suite of services, solutions, and contract vehicles are there to help meet mission needs. Hi, I'm Amy Kluber, Editor-in-Chief at GovCIO Media Research. We are here at TechNet Indo-Pacific, and I'm sitting down with Captain Ron Arellano. Ron, can you introduce yourself?
I'm the Director for the Cyberspace Operations Integrated Planning Element at U.S. Indopacom. In that role, I'm also the U.S. Cybercom liaison to U.S. Indopacom. And so we have an element that's completely integrated amongst the Indopacom headquarters, where we try to integrate cyberspace operations and everything that U.S. Indopacom is doing and trying to achieve in the theater.
The Indo-Pacific region, it's constantly evolving, and I know that changes the priorities for you guys exponentially. What are some of your biggest priorities in your role at the J6?
For cyberspace operations, I mean, there are a couple of main things that completely align with U.S. Indopacom's priorities, which are, mostly it's about relationships. When it comes to cyberspace operations and the pervasiveness of, cyber within today's world, doing it by, with, and through partners. And so, certainly we think of the 5 of the 7 closest U.S. allied partners that we want to create an enduring relationship with. So it's discussing and collaborating with them when it comes to cybersecurity and cyberspace operations. But then if you kind of expand that, I think even more so, and it's becoming more critical, the relationships that we're forging with local government agencies or other federal and local government agencies, especially in areas like Hawaii and Guam, where we have such a high military presence amongst the local population and the economy. And so those relationships, knowing that a lot of what we do and the systems that we set up, are dependent upon, the local telecoms, the local power plants, ensuring that they're safe is just as high a priority as much as we're safe. And then lastly, I think the partnerships with industry, knowing that, tech continues to evolve and people look for, the best solutions out there, ensuring that we're doing that or that the requirements and our priorities are known to industry ensures that, a higher level of service can be provided, better capabilities that align to what, we need for warfighting. I think that's where, relationships and the priorities on that are just absolutely instrumental. When it comes to systems, mission partner environments really underpin a lot of that collaboration with, those allies and partners that I discussed earlier. So having a capable system that provides safe and secure communications for command and control, for force projection, for any one of the major warfighting functions. I mean, it is underpinned by a mission partner environment that is just as secure as it is lethal. And so within the Indopacom theater, we have the Indopacom Mission Network, and that's the initiative in order to get after that. So yeah, I think those are the two major pieces. I'd say if there was a third priority, it's really how do we integrate the full range of cyberspace operations into everything that U.S. Indopacom does. I think historically, cyberspace operations has been kind of, siloed in its own kind of category of things. But being a cybercom integree inside U.S. Indopacom really shows me that, whether it's any of the the directorates, the J codes, like everyone has a piece of cyber and cares about cyber, and so it's on me to figure out with what U.S. Cybercom is doing, how can we apply that across not only the headquarters but then the theater.
Many leaders I talk to all the time, they say it's not always a technology problem. It's sometimes it's a people problem. So that those relationships that you speak about are really important to that integrated deterrence environment. What are some of the solutions that you're looking at in terms of how you're looking to defend cyberspace, or what that means for some of the physical infrastructure that you spoke to?
With an attack surface that continuously expands, that presents opportunities and vulnerabilities all in the same. So I think tools technology that help us keep pace with that are paramount. So I'd be remiss to say that if we weren't looking at machine learning and artificial intelligence as means to keep up with the volume and the scale of how much we have to defend, integrating things to allow us to ingest and look at things on a broader scale, I think are truly important. I think historically in the cybersecurity realm, we look at indicators of compromise. I think as we look towards AI and machine learning, we're looking more for patterns of behavior that now allow us to see, encounter things like living off the land, tactics, techniques, and procedures, and do so in a way that helps enable and empower local defenders. We want to have a defense in depth, from a cyber perspective that's just as robust and resilient as what we have for air defense, for missiles, and those types of things. So I think implementing, those types of solutions that can keep up with the scale and the speed at which data is really traversing networks globally is really going to be the game changer.
Absolutely. It's a very exciting time to be in this space and to see how much technology is really just exponentially growing and changing priorities like yours. So there's a lot of policies and directives out there. Being a liaison role, you probably see a lot of that at play. What does that look like for you?
Of course. I mean, I think probably the one that's most relevant here in the near term would be what Department of Defense CIO is really pushing as far as a mission partner environment framework. And from that now, the Indopacom mission network can now, has a path to tread. While in many cases it's leading the charge and blazing a path, I think, kind of things that really talk about, what are your security, where is security in this, right? We always talk about, baking security in at the ground level. Well, I think the MPE framework does that. And so having a strong policy that says, hey, these are the minimum requirements for a viable MPE, system or capability, is that gives us a path. And so whether it's implementing zero trust principles or multi-factor authentication, what we want to do is enable joint warfighting, and as part of that, it's having a protected, system. So I think that's kind of like hand in hand, where policies and going back to how technology is really forging what cybersecurity looks like, because across industry, across governments, and government officials, across countries. Really, that's where we need these policies to kind of help harness us all.
Well, for Captain Arellano, this is a fantastic look at some of your priorities and some of the things that are happening in cyberspace and in cybersecurity. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.